Lisa Marie Presley's death.
Lisa Marie Presley was laid to rest at Graceland just over a week ago, next to her beloved son Benjamin, and steps away from her father.
In some ways, she came full circle. I mean, she spent the first 9 years of her life at Graceland.
On February 1st, 1968, Priscilla gave birth to Elvis's only child, Lisa Marie Presley.
This room shows how much Elvis liked Hawaii, and it said Lisa Marie would take naps as a child in this chair in the corner.
The birth of the king's only child on February 1st, 1968 is huge. Fans are just obsessed. And so is Elvis.
My little daughter goes around and says, "Hey Elvis, what you gonna do?" So swear to God. "Hi Elvis." I said, "Honey, I'm your daddy. Don't call me." "Okay, Elvis."
Elvis spoils her rotten. He buys her furs, jewelry, and even names his plane after her.
Priscilla writes in her memoir that Elvis just lavished gifts on her, and she put it in a very interesting way. She said that he gave her everything a child shouldn't have and couldn't appreciate.
He was very protective, very adoring, and very watchful. And, you know, I knew that I was loved. There's no question about that.
You were very close to your father?
Yes.
It was a daddy-daughter kind of thing?
Yeah, very much.
What was he like as a father?
Very, you know, adoring, very sweet. I knew that he was crazy about me.
At Graceland, young Lisa has the run of the place, and everyone there knows it. No one dares mess with the king's princess.
I knew that no one was going to tell me what to do because they would get fired. I was truthfully a terror, to be honest. One of the cooks just recently told me, she said, "You came in the kitchen one day and you said, she made a chocolate cake," and she said, "and I wanted to eat it." She said, "You can't right now." Your father said, "No, you're gonna have dinner." And I said, "You're fired, get out, this is my house."
When she would be at Graceland and go down to the front to see the fans that were gathered there, that they'd ask her for an autograph, and she'd sign her name and write some rude message as well. Or she said how people would say, they'd give her a camera and say, "Can you go up and take a picture of your father?" And she'd say, "Yeah, I'll do that." And then she'd just throw the camera away and not come back.
Elvis and Priscilla divorced when Lisa's just 5, and then after she begins splitting her time between Graceland and Priscilla's new home in Los Angeles.
She's very spoiled and indulged when she's visiting her father, and then when she's back with her mother, Priscilla tries to restore some kind of discipline, and it wasn't easy. The teenage years can be difficult, but for Lisa, it was harder than most. After her father's death, Lisa moves in with Priscilla full-time. And that's when things between the two of them start to get really tense.
I really gave it to my mom pretty badly, I felt. When I was younger, it was like difficult to have a relationship.
Lisa wanted to do whatever she wanted, when she wanted, how she wanted, and her mother wanted to contain that. And that was Priscilla's agenda for having her come week after week into Scientology therapy.
When Lisa hits her teenage years, she starts using alcohol and drugs, including cocaine. This is a problem that gets worse and worse over the years.
She woke up a different person at 13 years old, of which I never expected. And it does happen, and I wasn't quite prepared for it. She did dabble in drugs.
I was a lost soul for a while. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no purpose in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, and you know, finding myself.
When Lisa is 17, Priscilla is at her wit's end. She kicks her out of the house and drops her off at the Scientology Center. She hopes the church can get a handle on her. Lisa stays there for 8 months.
She basically threw me out in the middle of the night. You know, one night I get out. She drove me to the church one night and sort of dumped me off to them. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning and I was in hysterics.
Lisa falls in love with another member of the church, a musician named Danny Kehoe.
I knew at 20 years old, actually earlier, that Danny was the man I was having my children with. And I don't know how I knew that. I just knew he was the one, he was the right one. And he was going to be the person that I would be okay to be connected to for the rest of my life, regardless what happens with us. It was like this prophetic thing I knew at, 19.
They marry and have 2 kids together, Riley and Benjamin. They divorce after 6 years.
Danny will resurface in a big way years later.
So here's what's crazy. Just 3 weeks after the ink dries on the divorce papers, Lisa marries again. Marries an icon as big as her dad. A marriage that will play out bizarrely in public.